Vibrant colors and patterns of regalia glistened under sun, fireworks, and lightning to the many heartbeat drums as hundreds gathered from across Turtle Island to Nokemigwanning waterfront powwow.
This is my first time being to this powwow. We just been on the powwow trail, and so we decided to come here. And so we came here to dance and sing and have fun.
We're gonna go 2 songs for the princess contestants here.
For its 50th anniversary, the community opened Friday evening with a recognition of a youth dance pageant, including the naming of Miss Nokemigwanning.
I think it's very special to be here on the 50th anniversary and be princess and being from here too. I think it was very empowering to dance and for it to slowly be coming back. And it's very connecting to Mother Earth. Just keep trying and practicing and just do it for fun. Dance for your community.
Another contestant, Tegan Lowe, danced in Jingle regalia.
I think it's a very beautiful style to dance. And I love seeing everybody dancing around in Jingle. It's really beautiful.
Bordering Ontario and Minnesota, the northwestern Ontario Ojibwe community under Treaty 3, formerly known as Whitefish Bay First Nation, is known for the healing origin story of the jingle dress dating back from the 1920s.
I've tried dancing fancy before, but I didn't feel that it suited me, so I stuck to Jingle, and that's all I've ever danced since I was able to walk. I danced for my family and my uncle last year who passed away, and he's all I think about when I dance. He was my best friend. I loved him with all my heart.
Dancing Jingle for the first time while the community announced the first-time women flag bearers for the grand entry, Kayla Wesley says it was a powerful experience connecting to her roots here.
I think being here is awesome. It brings family and friends closer, and I just feel good. Right. When I put down my tobacco,
There's an extension cord here for you.
It's for myself and also for my family.
It's
just my way of watch over us, but I'm also thankful. So that's just my intentions when I enter the circle.
The 19-year-old says it's important to learn the knowledge as well as the dance.
This community, Whitefish Bay, like where it originated and where it started, when the jingle dress dancers are dancing, they're spreading their healing. It's important to go to continue to learn the knowledge. It's not just about dancing, it's also listening to the elders
asking for an extension cord. There's
and taking their knowledge that they have to share.
Ontaria Arrow White is a jingle dress dancer from Idaho. She says her family came to the powwow because of its jingle dress origin story.
I always wanted to come here to Whitefish Bay, and this is my first time, and I really enjoy it here.
She says she dances for her great-grandmother who recently passed.
I've been doing it for her as her wish, just to keep on going and dancing. And one thing is she really admired my dancing and jingle, so that's what I've been doing right now, is just thinking about her.
She says while she's heard of other origin stories coming out of Red Lake, Minnesota, this jingle dress story comes from the community's late Maggie White.
The reason why I dance jingle dress is because I'm a 3-generation family. My grandma used to dance fancy, but now she dances traditional. But back in the day, she used to dance against Maggie White, so it's very honored to be around where she's from. And my mom dances jingle, so I dance a jingle as well. But it's a really powerful dance, and I'm very honored to be dancing, especially over here in Whitefish, to learn so much more of the home of the jingle dress.
Linda Bird traveled from Winnipeg to dance in her hometown.
She was the first one to wear it. Back then they used to have only shawl dancing, traditional dancing, and she wore that dress basically by herself. If it hadn't been for the White family, this jingle dress would have died out, because from what I know that they were ridiculed because there was no jingle dress dancers way back then. But then when they pushed it to dance in the healing dress, then everybody started to understand. Now everybody wants to heal because there's so much hurt in this world, and we have to keep moving on. We can't stop. It's really what it is, a healing dance.
We're singing for him in his memory. We're singing for the family that they too find that healing from that grieving as they're honoring their loved one here this weekend. And as he is one of the original singers of the Whitefish Bay Singers, these gentlemen are going to be singing that first intertribal
She
song.
danced Saturday during a memorial drum dance for her late uncle and Whitefish Bay drummer Tommy White.
I just lifted myself up like the way Maggie White did.
Thank you, gentlemen.
She was lifted up and I just went, and then it started to clear my sadness and to move on. You just glow after that. That's the power of Jingle Dress dancing.
Granddaughter to Maggie White, Rhonda White, holds up a jingle dress of her late Kokoms. A teacher in the community, she shares the oral history of her family's vision of creating the dress from a dream.
The one that she received when she was about 6 or 7. And she went through what is called a Ogimagamig, kind of like a healing lodge. She was sickly growing up. And her grandfather, Panasi Shinkaza, was his name. Growing up, he would have these visions, but he didn't know what they meant until, well, he was an old man. And with the jingle dress, with this dress that he made, it was made specifically for her.
During the time of Indian agents and the limitations of leaving the reserve, Maggie Bird was born in Kenora, Rat Portage on December 15, 1922. The same year, Indian Affairs Chief Medical Officer Dr. Peter Henderson Bryce published the story of a national crime, an appeal for justice to the Indians of Canada, which exposed the horrifying death toll among children in residential schools.
When you're going through a healing ceremony and you're given a gift to honor that, she was told to wear this dress when she put it on to start dancing, and the more she danced in that dress in the healing lodge, she started getting better. And after the healing ceremony, she just always danced in that dress. No matter where she was dancing at, she would always wear that jingle dress. This is the dress that she was, it's not the exact, but a replica of the dress that she was given. We traveled around powwows for as long as I could remember, as long as I could walk. One of the things that I always remember is her dancing the jingle dress. Always dancing the jingle dress, no matter what powwow we went to. That's where we started hearing the term, the First Lady of Jingle, because she was always the one out at those powwows, no one else wearing the jingle dress.
She describes the difference of drum beats and footwork from the jingle dancing they were showcasing.
One of the things that I remember hearing from my parents, even the Whitefish Bay Singers, there's such a connection between the drums, the singing styles, and the jingle dress, and it's very localized in the area, that it's very distinctive. It's a different beat compared to fancy or grass. The side step, I remember when we went out west. There's a powwow in Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm pretty sure it was Regina, Saskatchewan, or Moose Jaw. One of those two powwows. I can't remember, but my kokum was there by herself again. No, there's no other jingle dress dancers. I don't know how old I would have been, maybe 10, 11, 12. And Whitefish Bay were there. So Whitefish Bay were asked to sing a round dance for the women's traditional. And when they were singing, they did the round dance beat, the jingle dress. And I remember the look on some of those women's traditional, they were like, I don't know how to, because with the women's traditional, it's just a much slower beat. And then the women's jingle dress, sound sidestep dress. And that's one of the things that she would say is that it's going to catch on. It's going to evolve. It's going to become something. And it's going to be shared amongst the different nations.
Wife of the late Tommy White, Isabel White, has seen the rise of the jingle dress firsthand, starting with watching her Kokampe Pompe making the cones by hand.
That was her passion, making jingle dresses. There's at least 300 cones, at least 300.
That's incredible. Yay.
And those cones were done by hand, one by hand. And I remember my grandmother pounding them. I could hear it now, how she pounded those jingles one by hand. On the floor, she sat on the floor. She felt really proud. And it gave her life, It gave her life, gave her energy. And this one was...
She says she was one of the original 4 women to travel powwow in the 1970s with Maggie White and the Whitefish Bay Singers, who brought the dress and the dance with them.
And Maggie was the mother of the Whitefish Bay Singers. So, and I was one of the Whitefish Bay Singers, and Evelyn was. So we're the ones traveling, eh? So we're the ones, I guess, promoting the jingle dress or make it known. I don't know how to call it, but because we were traveling with them.
She remembers how powwows didn't know what category to put them in.
I remember one place in Wikwamikong. We're the only ones jingle dress. These younger people, they come and look at our jingles and they even touch them like, what's that?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
That was 42 years ago. There was no category on jingle dress. But now you see, like this powwow. I couldn't believe how my jingle dress is. It's like that everywhere.
Following dancing jingle for the first time in her home community during the 50th anniversary, Nokamigwaning's Willow Crow went to the Kenora's Lake of the Woods Museum to pay respect and to learn more.
My name is Brady Murray, and I work here at News. And these are some of the jingle dresses we have in our collection. These ones are quite old. We suspect they're from around the 1940s. Yeah. So in 2019, we had an exhibit on the jingle dress, featuring many of the dancers from Whitefish Bay. So this is the exhibit catalog to be able to kind of share that story.
In 2019, the Kenora exhibit showcased jingle dresses and the region's origin story, along with photography with now Toronto Photo Laureate Nadia Quandabins, who is from the region.
It was excellent. Colorful and bright, and there was audio visual and the sound of jingles. Just, it was a great summer exhibit. Really cool.
I came in for the exhibit actually, before I started dancing, because I only started dancing August of last year.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just this past weekend I was able to dance in my home community in Nokamigwaning for the first time ever.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so amazing.
Yeah.
The director shares how the region has been an international hub of inquiry around the origin of the jingle dress.
We're just really kind of getting some momentum, and the pandemic hit and everything else, but we still do get calls from time to time, people Googling jingle dresses. And I got a call from a lady in Washington, D.C., and she was wondering about jingle dresses and sort of wanted to know more, and she saw she was Googling and found the exhibit. And so the reason why she was very interested is because she has a son who's special needs and really enjoys the sound of the jingles and really enjoys the sound of hearing the powwow and being involved. And she was wondering if we could send her more information. I said, well, I can send you the exhibit catalog, but it's not really my story to tell. But I can send you these resources. I can send you information and kind of other places to look. And so it's really neat that people are reaching out to us, and it's really neat that we can help kind of share that information as well.
Oh, I could cry. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Do you think about anything when you hear the jingles?
When I hear the jingles, yeah, I think about like rattles, like how they're used in ceremony, like to cleanse people's energies, but also the spaces, like from what little that I know, so you could use it like sponge, like shaking a rattle cleanses a space. And so with like the jingles, I think of that, and like the jingle sounds are what actually heals like the space, and people who request healing songs by jingle dress dancers. Think about rain. Rain is cleansing, and like leaves, like the trembling aspens when they like flutter in the wind, you could hear them fluttering. It's so beautiful.
Willow says part of her reconnection to her Anishinaabe culture and spirituality is through the significance of dreams, like the jingle dress origin and what led to her own dress creation.
I actually had a dream about my dress, and I dreamt about it like probably a few years before I even started dancing. I didn't know what to make of it, and I didn't necessarily feel ready to like join the powwow circle. But this past year, I really felt called to join the circle because I was able to attend ceremony and really immerse myself in culture, learn about the land.
And that this is a snuff cover. And and this is the most original. See how old it is, and this is more.
Isabel played a lead role in the exhibit organization, including having people make their own cones.
You know, when we were doing that exhibit, and my husband said he likes to see jingles over here because your heart is over here, he said. And it's a healing dress.
The Nokimiquaning jingle dress origin rose during the time of heightened colonial oppression of indigenous culture and spirituality.
We did almost shy away or afraid. I remember being afraid of them taking away the powwow or whatever. And because there was also Mitewin ceremonies, and that one, I know that one for sure was lost for years. It's just finally coming back.
For many decades, powwows and dancing were banned under the Indian Act from 1876. Over time, from protests, including from Indigenous veterans, the federal government made amendments to the Indian Act, but it wasn't until 1951 that the ban on cultural ceremonies was removed.
Do you know whose dresses these are? Or?
Yeah, so these ones we don't. We don't have any backstory, unfortunately.
So how did they come to the museum?
So these ones, I'm not exactly sure. There were some that were in the collection, I don't think these three, but at least one in the collection of Frank Edwards. So he was an Indian agent here. So when he passed away in 1940, he left his collection to the library, and it's at the library for some time, and ended up at the museum in 1964. So there's at least one from that collection.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, we don't know. So we're stewards of them, but we'd like to learn more, and who knows what the future will hold.
Oh, so beautiful. I think this would be a beautiful opportunity to like have multiple generations to learn about this person and the context of how, you know, they've impacted their communities and families and multiple generations, and it could be done in a good way through ceremony, through healing of the jingle dress.
Rhonda says that she was inspired to paint a jingle dress mural that was also featured in the Kenora Jingle Dress exhibit. She says she modeled it after a photo with her family members, including Maggie.
Especially in the conversation, truth or reconciliation, like why is dancing and as a preservation of culture important?
Mm-hmm. A lot of our language is so immersed in the ceremonies, the songs, and that was carried through those kinds of hardships that were happening, where things were limited and they weren't allowed to do so much.
Maggie White passed October 21st, 1992 at the age of 69. But the jingle dress lives on. With the rise of Indigenous regalia fashion, the jingles are constant reminders of family and community resistance and persistence to preserve the right to spiritual cultural healing, as seen in vocalizations or Sasakwe. Rhonda says the 50th anniversary powwow was meaningful to be part of, as the largest she's seen in over 20 years.
Just wow. Just, you know, I think back when we first traveled, nobody danced the jingle dress. You didn't see it out there. And today it's everywhere. No matter where you go, there's always the jingle dress out there. Yeah, and that's something that I'm proud of, because this is what my kokum saw. This is what she's seen, that the dress is going to become part of all these different nations. Yeah. And maybe that's what another part of that healing is.
Dancing Saturday evening during a jingle dress special for her niece Sierra White, she reflects on what dancing means to her.
Yeah, one of the things that I relate the jingles, the sounds is it goes back to the drum. It goes back to the sounds of the drum that I always try to honor my grandmothers by dancing the old ways of how they used to dance, so that way our younger generation can see that.
And this healing song that the Whitefish Bay singers will be singing came from her great grandmother, Sierra's great grandmother, Maggie White.
We're told is to be around people, because that's the best medicine, and to continue with dancing. So when we dance, we're dancing for those that can't, for those that are gone, those that are not, that can't be here with us. And then we dance for the healing. And I think for me, it's all of that, you know, what my niece had gone through. It made me so proud to see her dance. Very proud. Everything that she had gone through, so all of my energy went for her to have that strength. Yeah. And then thinking about my family, everyone that my brother had left behind.
It's just not a dress. It's healing people. The feeling when you're watching them dance. And it's just not pretty. It's it's just not beautiful. It's just you feel so proud when you're dancing out there, so proud, and it's to me it's not just about money either. You feel a lot. You feel happy.
It's so beautiful to really think about how they honor that gift and the joy that comes of it and the healing. And it's so beautiful to see how far and wide the Jingle just has gone, like all over Turtle Island, and how respected our people from Nochimegaling are by all the relations of Turtle Island. It's incredible.
It really does heal and protect you, because there are times where I'm sick, and when I want to dance, it helps me heal and I feel a lot better. And it's just not only the dancing but the dresses as well. So I feel very, very honored, and it's very powerful to dance in a Jingle dress, especially in here in Whitefish.
The community acknowledges the 150th anniversary of the signing of Treaty 3, October 3rd. Carly Schogner, APTN National News, Nokimigwaning First Nation.
And this is what I chose to do for my work and my life, is to uphold our rights as Indigenous peoples and to protect our waters and to always recognize this relationship that we had with them.